Hello, and welcome to Evergreen Learning Spotlight. Here in Evergreen Public Schools, we believe that all students can graduate with the skills to be world competitive when we provide them with a meaningful learning environment and teachers and staff who challenge them to reach their full potential. This program gives you the opportunity to see firsthand the extraordinary work that teachers and students are doing in our classrooms each and every day. Today, I'm fortunate to be joined by a teacher and two students from Heritage High School, and we'll meet them now. Joining me is the game design teacher from Heritage, Darlene Wendlandt, a senior, Emma Farley, and Andrew Cusinelli, who's a junior at Heritage. Welcome. So I'm going to start with you, Darlene. You're teaching a class on game design. You want to tell me a little bit about the class and specifically, what are you doing in there?
A lot of people wonder what we're doing in there. I think there's a lot of fun and laughing, and people are wondering what we're doing in there. Obviously, it is a very fun class, but we saw it as a way that students can apply a lot of different skills that they learn in all their other classes, problem solving being one of the biggest, and working together, starting with a concept, and working with multiple things that have to work together for programming ideas and items and events, and we get to use math and science, and I think it's pretty amazing when you walk in. The kids are having fun applying math, science skills, problem solving skills, and they come up with some artistic, interactive presentation that someone else can enjoy too and learn from.
So how many students at Heritage are taking this class?
Right now this semester there's about 100, but in the whole year there'll be 2 more classes, so about 130, 150 this year.
So is 101 class, or do you have different segments of classes? Or?
Just one class, you mean? There'll be advanced class next semester.
Okay, but you don't have 100 in the classroom at the same time?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Throughout the school, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 30 in the class.
All right, just wanted to make sure we weren't overfilling those classes. Do you know if the class is being offered at any of our other high schools?
Yes, CTE has worked very hard to lay the foundation and implement the software and everything necessary to teach it in all 4 of our high schools.
Okay, and for folks who don't know what CTE, that's Career and Technical
Yes,
Education.
It is.
All right. So I know the kids like playing video games, and it seems like it would be a lot of fun. But really, why are we offering game design in the school district?
Well, I really believe that it strengthens their other skills. Again, it's problem solving. It's a creative way to do your art and to combine math and science and all those other. It's a great career field to go into right now. They're always hiring. Even in a downturn economy, we're finding that the game industry is running strong. People still need entertainment, even if they can't go on a trip or something. So. I think we're adding a lot more gamers too. It's becoming more social and more popular, even with women and people that didn't necessarily play games before. It's a great way to learn too.
So how are you teaching the class? I mean, do the students work on projects individually, in a group, or do you design the games first and then have them go in, or what do you do?
A little bit of all of that. The beginning of the class, we learned some very rigid techniques and followed along to learn specific skills. And once they had these skills, we've opened it up to let them make some choices now and give their own game some direction. And if they'd like to learn more or do more, there's other ways for them to gain information. They learn from each other. I give them opportunities to share a different way to process something, or a different way to program something, a different technique that somebody might want to pick up. So there's a lot of individual work, but there's also a lot of teams that they find somebody like Emma that's really good at art, and they're maybe better at programming. So there's a lot of natural teams that form, and everybody in the room, as they get better, they get up and help each other troubleshoot. They can see that somebody's struggling with a point, and they'll come over and say, I fixed it by doing this. So there's a lot of just pure camaraderie and inspiration, and it's really great.
So Emma, why did you sign up for the class?
I've always loved video games, and I really wanted to learn how to make them myself. And it really incorporates the drawing that I do, and I can just make my own sprites all the time.
What about you, Andrew? Why did you decide to take it?
I took game design because I'm very into video games, and I'm also a very curious person, and it was the notion of knowing how the games worked and why they worked that way was very appealing to me. And I was also very excited about making a game where I would control how everything worked rather than have someone else give me a game that I may or may not like. I was very much looking forward to making a game that I knew how everything worked and control it myself.
All right, so I understand you brought some of the games with you that you've been working on, and you're going to show us that. And walk me through what you've done. So now, Andrew, I believe you're going to go first and talk us through us.
All right. My game, fairly basic. You start out in a very white environment with a few splashes of red and some hands chasing you. I based this off of a dream I had a while ago, and with Game Maker and the image editing that comes with that program, I've been able to roughly translate that environment into my game. So
how did you put this game together? What were the skills that you needed?
Well, I started with editing the, here, I'll show you. I started editing the pictures that would go into it. That's what the first thing I started with. And then I had to go from there with programming some of the pictures to execute actions. The first picture I had to draw for this game was this large white one here, and I had to go through a lot of editing to get it just the way I wanted it to look. And then after I had that done, I programmed it as an object so that when the stick person jumped onto it, it would collide with it and then it would stop, so that it was a platform that the character could stand on. And from there, I added in the pictures of the hands and then the programming to make the hands chase the stick person through the environments. And from there, I just added in more and more pictures using the same programming, making it more elaborate with each room until I had an environment that I liked. And then I've just been working out the issues with playing it.
And then I also understand you had to use a lot of math skills to do this. Can you or Emma maybe talk a little bit about the math skills you need for the computer games? Or Darlene, if you want to jump in there.
Andrew's got a little example here. What they're working through right now is fairly minimal math skills with graphs, charts, measurements, time, and actions, gravity, a little bit of physics. But as we get towards the end of the semester, we'll be working with a lot more math and calculations. And I think Andrew can explain to you about paths here and how he came up with the mathematical formulas for this character to follow, this path.
This is the path that a sort of a blob follows that it's necessary for the character to stand on. And this, I had to open up the room that I wanted it to go in, which was room 1. And so what I had to do was take this. I wanted this blob to go around this sort of stalk with an eye on it. And so I got the coordinates from the room that would go around that stalk, and then I laid it into the grid here, and then from there had the object track this line in the place that I wanted it to go.
That's great. Now, Emma, you also brought part of it along with you, right? A game?
Well, I didn't bring a game, but one of our assignments was to redesign a game character, and what I did was I took one of my favorite games and took 5 of their main characters and did this. It's a little weird looking, I realize that, but it's definitely something that I love. And I'm using Flash for one of the first times. I used a little bit of it in web design, but at the time I wasn't sure what I was doing. I was a freshman then. And well, now I really like the way that the program works.
So you're
especially
using
for drawing.
a variety of computer skills to do
Yes.
this. So you've talked about Flash and some other things. Are there other skills that you've learned throughout the course of this class? I mean, you talked a little bit earlier about some art classes and things like that. So for somebody who had no skills, what would they need to take this class?
Oh, you don't really need them very much to take the class. It's open to freshmen through seniors. But I personally have taken a few drawing classes and painting classes, and applying it here is really fun.
So you like the art aspect, and kind of
Yes.
sounds like you like more the technical aspects.
I like the programming of the games.
That's great. What are some of the other skills that are being utilized in this class, Darlene?
A lot of problem solving, a lot of collaboration and brainstorming, and one of the things that they've had to learn is to take criticism and make changes, and learn better ways to communicate with their audience, and fix flaws that they didn't even see there. So a lot of working over things again and again. Also think it's good that they're learning some art history, and we're looking at some of the games that are purchase games, professional games, and analyzing myths and culture and religion and communication and politics, and so many things that you learn about in your world are woven into the games that are out there. And we had a conversation the other day about the Civil War battle, and one of the students was playing a game that kind of emulated the Civil War battle. And they were saying how exciting it was to play the game and be part of the Civil War, and how much more aware and passionate they felt about history when they had a chance to be part of it rather than just reading it out of a book. So I think that there's so many ways that we can reach kids on a real passionate level and involve them in different subjects, whether it's the environment or math or history that seems to be kind of dry. I think weaving it in with letting you be a part of it now, not just reading about someone else, but and designing it and interacting with it, I think is a really an exciting part of that.
So you've talked about art, you've talked about history, you've talked about music. What kind of credits are students earning for this class?
Right now, they can earn an art credit, an elective credit, or a vocational credit. Our hope is that we can team teach with a math teacher at our school, and we've started the process of that. I would be working with an integrated math teacher, and we would team teach this, so the math teacher would oversee that every math concept is driven home and absolutely understood, while I would teach the application of it, so now you can use it. So they completely understand why they're making that graph and how that affects their end result. And so we're using just all the skills they get during the day in one class. It's really neat to see it all come together.
All right. So Andrew, how do you think you've benefited from taking this game design class?
I've learned a lot about working with the Game Maker program and with Photoshop, which is another good thing to know how to work with. A lot of other basic computer skills, patience.
That's always a good one. What about you, Emma?
Just learning what it takes to make a game. I've already said that I love video games, but one of my favorites would be Pokemon, and just making something like that takes a lot of programming, and it gives me a new appreciation for the game.
So it sounds like this is the type of class where students can bring a variety of their interest in, and then go and make a game and share it with their friends. What are you hoping to do with this after you get out of school? I know you're graduating this year. Is this something you want to continue on in?
I would love to continue with this. I'm really interested in character design, and I plan to go to the Art Institute of Portland. Hopefully I'll get in. I just need to apply.
That's great. So is there anything else you want to talk about as regards to your game design class? Anything we haven't covered yet that folks should know about, other than the fact that it's fun and they're putting together a lot of different bringing together a lot of different skills?
Working through it, I've learned a lot. I think it really helps. It's a medium for the kids to communicate to each other, to see their own dreams and visions and inspiration come alive and actually get to share it with their peers. I think that's really fun. And they've proven that games help us learn, and we learn our ABCs to a game, and we learn to count in games. And by making educational games and by making games that help us teach each other and communicate with each other, I find that the things they do help us know about them so much more, and I think they find themselves, and they find creative things about themselves. I did not know that Andrew was such a good musician, and he's writing all of his own music for the game. And so it takes a lot of different elements to bring together, a lot of problem solving and teamwork, and I'm just really proud of everything the kids have done. This exceeded what we thought that they could do, and it's a very successful game.
That's great.
Class.
That's great. Well, I want to thank the three of you for coming and joining us today. Good luck, and let us know when you're going to have your games on the market so we can all say we knew you back when. Thank you.
Thank you.
This program is being provided by the 15 members of the Vancouver Educational Telecommunications Consortium, TV, etc.